Okay, let's start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين محمد وأهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين واللعنة على أعدائهم من الآن إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي زدني علما. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all the students who have just joined now. Now, I need to clarify some things with regards to this approach which I'm teaching now. This approach which I'm trying to teach Quranic Arabic from the Quran and from the surahs, there are two things. One is that you could do Quranic studies, where the Quranic studies is that there's two approaches. So there are two approaches. One approach is that you just do one surah of the Quran, you translate, tell is a verb, pronoun, preposition, or whatever, and then you do the tafsir and move on to the next surah. That's one approach. The other approach is that you completely dissect each surah with its verbs and past tense, present tense, and learn the pattern on which that verb is being formalized, and then you try to expand upon that and try to make the student develop their ability from each surah itself. So this is the approach which I'm doing, which is the more challenging one for myself, but more beneficial for yourselves. These classes, in my view, these classes which I'm offering are more useful at the moment, because the way I'm teaching it's very useful, like the Medina Arabic courses. The Medina Arabic course itself, it's training yourself to become like this. But I'm giving you the outcome, what will be achieved from Medina Arabic once you do the course, and here I'm offering you that outcome before you have reached that level. And here I'm trying to train everyone that within a short span of time, every student has a capacity and ability to recognize a verb in its past tense, present tense form, and its imperative form within the 30th juz itself. So this is the approach which I'm doing, and it may seem very frustrating and boring, but this is the way I'm teaching yourself. It's a very effective and a fast-tracked measure of yourself to be able to understand the Quran itself. I've seen people telling me that they spent 2 or 3 years and trained Quranic Arabic and trying to learn it, and they're still not able to do what you'll be able to do within the next. If you do it for 2 to 3 months, your ability, believe me, you'll be better than those who have studied Arabic, Quranic Arabic, for 3 years. And that is something I guarantee. I have one student in our class from Vancouver. He is, mashallah, he's a senior student, and he himself started recently with me, and he's attending these classes. He's finished book 1, and he's like yourselves, finished book 1, just going to start book 2. He's in lesson 2 on book 2, and he is attending regularly these classes, Quranic Arabic, and he messaged me a few days ago: Sheikh, Alhamdulillah, I'm putting the hours in, and now I'm beginning to understand the Quran. The Quran is opening its doors to me. Of course, the Quran has many layers of understanding the verbs and present tense and so forth. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. And then the spirituality, once you develop your spirituality and then you study the Quran, then the Quran itself will open its doors. As you say, the inner meaning of the Quran will start gradually opening to yourself, as long as you're pious and as long as you're sincere as well. So of course I'm doing the surface translation at the moment, surface meanings, but the inner meanings will only come when you develop this link and with the Quran, and attachment with the Quran, inshallah. So I wanted to. So this is something which is really important. The Quran. Okay, let me show you something here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you this hadith, about the Quran itself, if I find it. Now listen to this hadith. This is a hadith about the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Because it's Shahr Ramadan and we're doing Quran, I want to read this hadith. This is the reason why. It says, Al-Fiqh al-Mansur Imam Rada alayhi salam. I'll give you the translation and the Arabic as well. أكثر في هذا الشهر المبارك من قراءة القرآن. أكثر. Those who have done with me book 2, this is from the 4-letter verb. أكثر يكثر إكثار. أكثر, أكرم, increase recitation of the Quran in this glorified or blessed month. والصلاة والصلاة على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. And salutation, salawat upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this month of Shahr Ramadan. وكثرة الصدقة, and increase giving sadaqah in the month of Shahr Ramadan. وذكر الله في آناء الليل والنهار, and the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the night and during the daytime in the month of Shahr Ramadan. وبر الإخوان, and goodness to your brothers in Iman. إفطارهم معك بما يمكنك, and trying to do the iftar in the month of Shahr Ramadan. So increasing the recitation of the Quran holds many benefits, and also the Quran itself in the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is a means of intercession. So on the day of Qiyamah, the Quran itself will be a means of intercession and shafa'at for yourself. The Quran will, and those people who have memorized the Quran, they will say, Iqra was'ad, recite and elevate your station in the heavens itself. And the Quran, those who have memorized the Quran, as you know, that the Quran, especially our youngsters, especially mothers who are in this group, try to make your children memorize Quran as much as possible when they are young, because once the Quran in the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim have mentioned that the Quran is a miracle of Rasulullah, and it has the power and the ability to become the flesh and the blood of your children. Once that becomes the flesh and blood of your children, spirituality becomes their immune system. Spirituality becomes their immune system from temptation of shaitan itself. So the temptation of shaitan, the antibiotic or the anti-fitna is taqwa, which can become part of their flesh if they become acquainted to the Quran, recitation of the Quran at a young age. So try, as you mothers and sisters, make your children recite the Quran before they go to bed, so that becomes a habit. And you will see the impact of, I'm an example. I normally don't give it, very few people know this. I'm an example. I came into the field of study in religious studies is because of the Quran. If it was not for the Quran, I would have not been in the field of religious studies. It's only because and the Quran, as a youngster, as a child, I had a spiritual attachment to the Quran. These things may be philosophical, but it's a reality. Spirituality is we as human beings are made of a body and a soul, and the soul itself, the satisfaction of the body is minimal, but the satisfaction of the spirit has more of an impact upon your body as well. And we in the West need our children to be protected from all of the actual peer pressures in our schools. And inshallah, Quran is that means which will give our children that protection itself, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Islam Shaykh, same goes for me. I want to learn the Arabic language because of the love of the Quran. Right, okay. Let me start continuing now. Now, before I start, Surah Nas is tafsir. I want to share some things about shaitan, as this surah is about refuge. Now, before I do the actual commentary, I want to share some points about Surah Nas and Shaitan. Okay, where is it? So I'm going to make it a tafsir incorporated with akhlaq as well. Now, let's go to in Surah Yasin. In Surah Yasin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about shaitan, and we need to understand that we always need to keep ourselves protected from shaitan. Why shaitan? Why do we have to protect ourselves from shaitan? It's a question. It's a valid question to ask. Let us go to Surah Yasin. So what I'm trying to do is trying to amalgamate Surah Nas with the understanding of what shaitan does and his role in our lives. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Yasin, verse number 60. Verse number 60. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alam ahad ilaykum ya bani Adam. Allah ta'budu shaitan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin wa ni'buduni hadha siratun mustaqim. So this is from Surah Yasin, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us that shaitan is our open enemy. Is our open enemy. So you need to remember that shaitan is our open enemy. He will try to get us involved or indulge in some sort of fitna, so that our pure souls, we as human beings, and it's an example because we live in the West, people in the West, there are more people who are suffering from depression than in the Eastern countries, in the Muslim countries. Number one, and even if you go into study psychology, they say that those people who are religiously orientated and believe in God, they suffer less from mental health issues itself. Why is there even the West? So when we have wealth, when we have materialism, we have everything in the West, America, Canada, but still we are suffering from these mental problems. Why? Because the problem is that our belief in God, our relationship, our spiritual level with God is weak. When we have a weak connection with God, then we become praise of shaitan, and praise of shaitan in the sense, temptation and thoughts come. What is your God doing? He's not helping you. So this is what's happened. And then in the Surah Yasin itself, in this verse, I'll give you, so verse number 60, and it says here, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, did I not charge you, O children of Adam, that you should not serve shaitan? Surely he is your open enemy. So Surah 60, it's ayah number 60 of Surah Yasin itself. Okay, number one. Number two, do you want me to send these actual ayats in the group or not? Would you want me to send it, or is it?
No, I think we've made a note. We don't need to. I've made a note. Surah Yasin, ayah 60.
Yeah, ayah 60. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Number one. Ayah number 60. Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I say something?
Yes.
I was doing this classes with my auntie, who is very knowledgeable. I think you know him, Hasnain Rajbali.
Yep.
Yeah, his mother. She was telling me about this ayah, the one which you mentioned, 60, and she says there's a recovery for that in Surah Anfal, ayah number 11. Can you please check and see what does that mean?
I want to finish this off. Inshallah, I'll do this maybe in the next session, because I've got something prepared for today. So inshallah, I will definitely do it for the next session. Inshallah.
Because she explained to me that she says that Allah has given us how to be away from the shaitan by.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm going to mention you this today of what is the actual cure as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to mention the cure as well. I'm going to send this.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And it's better if you send on a group. Is really with the definition. It's really gonna be helpful later.
Yeah, I'll do that inshallah. Then shaitan itself. What does shaitan do? So why are we reciting this Surah Nas? To protect ourselves from shaitan. Now in the other ayah of the Quran, this is again another important ayah of the Quran. Now this is from Surah Baqarah. In Surah Baqarah, let me share this ayah as well in the Quran, in the group. Surah Baqarah, verse number 200. Just 1 second. I'm going to just share this group. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It says, "Ash-shaytanu ya'idukum al-faqra wa ya'murukum bil-fahsha'i wallahu ya'idukum maghfira min fadlan wallahu wasi'un alim." So this is from Surah Baqarah. I'm just going to send this again in the group as well. That Allah, I'm going to just send it across in the group now. Give me 2 seconds.
What ayah number is this?
Yeah, I'm gonna give me 1 second. Let me just get the ayah for you, and I'll send it across into the group now. It's 268. I just want to get on there, and I'll share it in the group as well for you. So 268 Surah Baqarah. So I just want to get it on there. So I'm going to send this into the group as well, so that you have an understanding of why we are protecting ourselves from shaitan. So give me 1 second. Now here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here in this surah, it says that Ash-shaytanu ya'idukum. Ash-shaytanu ya'idukum is from the word shaitan. He is promising you poverty. So remember this, my brothers and sisters, that when you're trying to admonish anyone, or when you're trying to do amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, try to mention to those people who get involved in fitna that why you need to protect yourself from shaitan. He will destroy your life, and how shaitan will make your akhirah completely in the pits of hell. And ash-shaytanu ya'idukum al-faqr wa ya'murukum bil-fahsha. Shaitan is the one who threatens you with poverty and enjoins upon you indecency. So remember this point. So if you become a mischief maker, you will guarantee yourself, shaitan will promise you poverty. If you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahu ya'idukum maghfirah min wa fadlan wallahu wasi'un alim. And if you are a subservient and a loyal, faithful servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will promise you forgiveness from himself in abundance, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you in ample, and Allah is all knowing. Number one. Number two, also in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this, la in shakartum, exactly, ahsantum, doctor. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this in the Quran, that if you are grateful to me, I will increase upon you my bounty. So this is a very crucial part which everyone needs to understand, that being closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the means of your salvation itself. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry. So this is la in shakartum la azidannakum. La in La is for ta'keed, which comes in the front of present tense. La in shakartum, if you are grateful to me, la in shakartum la azidanna, indeed I will increase upon you my favors and bounties upon you. So this is the beauty of being a true lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La in shakartum la azidannakum. And then in another ayah of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in ta'addu, so sorry, let me give you the reference for this. So this is from Surah Ibrahim. Yeah, Surah Ibrahim, verse number 7. So Surah Ibrahim is Surah 14, and it's Surah 14, and it's ayah number 7. Ayah number 7. La in shakartum azi, if you are grateful to me, indeed I will increase upon you his bounties and favors. So this is the ayah in regards to the benefits. And then in another ayah of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'll just give you the ayah now. So this is
Surah Ibrahim, which ayah?
Number 7. Verse 7. Number 7. And then in Surah Nahl, which is Surah number 16. Surah Nahl, which is Surah number 16. In ayah number 18. Ayah number 18. I'll send this in the group, this ayah. Ayah number 18. It says, "In ta'addu ni'matallahi fala tuhsuha." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so grateful and compassionate upon us. It's us who are the ones who close our rizq. Everyone says, "Ya Allah, increase our rizq." We don't realize that this filth of sins is the means of preventing us to be able to increase our sustenance. And in this, in ta'addu ni'matallahi, if we try to encompass the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَلَا تُحْصُوهَا, we will not be able to count them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ghafur Rahim. Then I'm going to mention a few more because I don't want to prolong it too long. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, now Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Ali alayhi salam says in Bihar al-Anwar, it's going to be difficult, that's only in Arabic, it's not available in English unfortunately, so I'll give you the translation for this hadith. Imam Ali alayhi salam, the Arabic is this: akthir ad-du'a Hassalam min surat al-shaytan. Imam Ali alayhi salam says that increase your supplication. Increase your supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that you obtain immunity from the form of shaitan. So by reciting by doing dua, ad-du'a silah mu'min. Ad-du'a silahul mu'min. As the hadith says that prayer is the actual armor of a believer. Or in another hadith about dua, it's ad-du'a makhul ibadah. Ad-du'a makhul ibadah. Ad-du'a makhul ibadah means that dua is the essence of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in the other ayah of the Quran, it says that if it was not for your du'as, you would have perished itself. So dua is a very effective measure to change our destiny, to change our fate itself. Even Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, I'll send the Arabic. No, I think it's all of it. Yeah, these websites, all of it. There's 100 and 10 volumes, 120 volumes of Bihar, and all of them are not translated. There's only a handful of volumes which have been translated in English. Okay, so it says, Imam Ali says, "Akthir ad-du'a tasl min surati shaitan." Increase your dua so that you are protected from shaitan, from the figure of shaitan. And then in another hadith from the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, this is again, I'll give you the reference for this as well. Give me 1 second, let me give you the ayah. This is from Ali Imran, and it's verse number 155. In 155, this is again a very important ayah, which I'm going to share with you. May ya'sha. Let me just give it to you now. Ali Imran, which is Surah 3, verse number 155. Now in this verse 155, it says the following. It says,
Hello.
just 1 second, everyone. Let me put everyone on mute for a second. Let me just give you the ayah number. Let me just find it from here. May right, apologies, I just it's Surah Zukhruf. Surah Zukhruf is Surah 43, verse number 36. Verse number 36. Surah 43, verse number 36. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about shaitan and what he does, and I'll share that in the group now. So may ya'sha and let me just send this across for yourself so that we have an understanding of what's happening. Now in this ayah it says may ya'sha an dhikr rahman nuqayyid lahu shaytan fahuwa lahu qarinun. And whoever turns himself away from the remembrance of Allah, the Beneficent, we appoint for him shaitan, so it becomes his associate. So this is something which is very important and very powerful. That, you know, so whenever, remember this point, whenever an comes after a verb, it normally comes in the meaning diverting away. So here, may ya'sha. So may ya'sha, whoever turns himself away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sorry, what verse was this? So Surah Zukhruf is Surah number 43. Surah 43, verse number 36. May ya'sha. So what I'm trying to do is trying to give you an understanding of the Quran and shaitan from the Quran as well, so that we do have a bigger and paint you a picture from the Quran, so we have a better. Yeah, so Zukhruf, verse number 36. May ya'sha, whoever turns himself or who lives himself. So man ya'sha, whoever turns themselves away from the dhikr of Allah. So remember this point. Dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the means in which, as in the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim, they have mentioned that by the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our hearts become enlightened. And when we turn ourselves away from the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our hearts will become hard. So this is the difference between the two gravities and two forces, the force of Allah and the force of shaitan. The force of shaitan will make you a stone-hearted person, and the force of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you a tender, loving, soft-hearted person itself.
Can I ask you something, please?
Yes.
Sorry, maybe this question maybe is gonna look funny, but these ayat about regarding for what means is gonna help us to away from shaitan, or is gonna help us to learn Arabic? Or these ayahs you're telling us all about?
I'll give you understanding of shaitan itself. So because I'm trying to mix tafsir, akhlaq, and Arabic as well. So I'm giving you the ayats for you to have a better understanding of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said about shaitan within the Quran itself.
Exactly.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you in this ayah in Zukhruf,
Yep.
Whoever turns himself away from the remembrance of Allah, so Allah will do these things for us?
No. This will happen automatically. Because we will appoint. Of course, Allah doesn't appoint. It's what is you doing yourself as your action itself. Okay. This will happen itself.
Because there is a point for him.
Exactly. So, and also that means then he himself becomes an associate, a part of the mob of shaitan itself.
Oh, okay.
So he becomes a mob of shaitan. So this is the ayah which I needed to go to, that it says that نُقَيِّضُ لَهُ الشَّيْطَانِ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. The word qareen means a connector or associate.
Okay.
So that's the reason why now I'm going to go to Surah Nas.
Before you go to that ayah, say that ayah means that if I away from Allah's zikr, that means shaitan automatically come near to us. Is that
exactly
true?
That's right.
Assalamualaikum Malasa. Can I ask a question?
Alaikum assalam.
You know how many times you have to do the zikr Khuda? Like it says, one time God said Bismillah on the whole day, or every hour, every minute. I mean, it doesn't mention anything. How many times?
Acha, very good question. Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says, "O Allah, do not leave me tarfata aynin." Tarfata aynin means a blink of your eye. Even a blink of an eye that of course there are wajibat. The wajib 5, that's exact. But the more dhikr of that is the wajib, that is the minimum dhikr itself. But the more dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you do, the more you will elevate your soul in taqarrub of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala itself.
You mentioned, hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
It says, like Allah took a promise from us. But I never remember that. Did any promise anybody remember, or what it is? Could you elaborate on that, please?
We, as all human beings, before we was creating the alim of mithaq and alim of arwah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us about the mithaq, everyone made a promise. So of course we cannot remember this, but it's in our fitrah itself. So the fitrah itself, that allows us to remember that we made a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do I prove this point? We live in the West. We have two types. We have Muslims and non-Muslims in the West. The non-Muslims who become Muslim, ask them a question. They will say that even though we have so much wealth and everything and all the pleasure and the luxury of the West, but still there is a vacuum or a vacant space within our lives which feels that there's something missing in our lives. and I can't remember the name of that journalist now, who went to 2 years to Karbala. She was a young journalist, and she went to Karbala, and then she says that the aura of spirituality of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, she actually shed tears. So spirituality itself, it's something which gives, there's a hadith where it says that the heart itself is it's a sacred place, and the only thing which can give it that peace and tranquility, it is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As even ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub, this is ayah of the Quran. Are you not aware? Yeah, Emily Gray White, yes.
Yeah. Mention about this A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim is also away from the shaitan, and also Qul a'udhu bi rabbik min humazati shaitan.
Yes, that's right. Because shaitan itself has promised that he will try to, in the Quran it says that shaitan has said that he will try to make the individuals and the followers of shaitan has said that he will try to misguide the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, illa, except the ibad al-mukhlisin, except the true and sincere servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We as human beings have been created for a purpose, and that purpose is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't require our ibadah. We require worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya ayyuhan nas, in the Quran, again it says, I'll answer this question and then I'll move on. In the Quran it says this. Let me just bring the ayah of the Quran. Ya ayyuhan nasu. Let me bring the ayah of the Quran so that I can share with you. Antumul fuqara. Let me get that verse.
Are you Hafiz al-Quran?
I'm not a Hafiz al-Quran. Why are you asked that question? Okay, Surah Ya ayyuhan nasu antumul fuqara ila Allah wallahu al-ghaniyyul hamid. So this is from Surah which surah is this? Surah Fatir. This is from Surah Fatir. I'll give you the actual ayah, Surah Fatir verse number 15. So Surah Fatir verse number 15 itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a beautiful verse, and this is normally I use for Jummah as well. Surah Fatir, which is Surah 35 verse number 15. I'll bring that to you now. And I'll share this in the group now. This is a beautiful verse that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to use all measures to teach people the importance of the love and following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ayyuhan nas, aloho, antumul. Let me just send it across, and then I'll discuss it. So the last ayah is Ya ayyuhan nasu antumul fuqara ila Allah wallahu al-ghaniyyul hamid. That we as human beings, we are what? In need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Life without God is a life without a spirit. Our existence is depending upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so Ghafoor wa Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Dahr says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Inna hadaynahu sabila imma shakira wa imma kafura. Inna hadayna. Indeed, so I'll send this again from Surah. I'll send this ayah. Surah Dahr. It's the surah of the praise of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. The whole surah is in praise of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam and the fasting of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So in Surah Dahr, which is surah number 76, verse Inna hadaynahu sabila. This is ayah. Let me just give you the ayah as well. So this is from ayah number 3. Ayah number 3, surah number 76. So surah number 76, ayah number 3. Inna hadaynahu sabil imma shakira وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. This is again a beautiful verse of showing the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That surely we are the ones who show you the path, either you are thankful or ungrateful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that human, that existence who we are dependent upon, and without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our existence becomes miserable if we are not connected to our original source, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, this is enough. And now one final point, and then I'll go back to Surah Yasin, Surah Nas.
Sheikh Saab, you mentioned about the word un coming before
Yes.
any verb.
Yeah.
What did that mean?
So whenever Ain and Nun come, that normally comes in the meaning of repelling, diverting away, going away from something. For example, you know when Umar Madallah said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that Rasulullah Madallah has lost his mind. What did Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam say? He said, Qumu anni. Qumu anni. Qumu means stand up and go away from me. So the Ain and Noon is coming. So an means on, about. And when that comes with a verb, it means the meaning of repelling or diverting away from something itself. So when ya'sha an, it means that when you are living a life away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then shaitan will become your friend itself. Is that clear?
So the meaning of it is or repenting, right?
No, it means diverting, or divert means going away from something. Ain and Noon is a preposition. When it comes with a verb, it gives the meaning of repelling or diverting away from something. Okay. Now,
when we say shaitan, it is Iblis or this is different shaitan?
Shaitan, Iblis, the same thing. Shaitan and
who like misguided Iblis? Because he
himself
was also misguided.
Yeah, Shaitan, he misguided because he had the ability to become misguided. So he had free will. Shaitan is a jinn. Shaitan is a jinn, and Shaitan and human beings have free will. So free will is that हमारे पास इख्तियार है कि जो हमने काम करना है. Not like our Sunni brothers. Our Sunni brothers says that al-shar al-khair wa shar min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They say evilness and goodness is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't do this. They mean that if a person does bad, it's because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not because of him. And that's the reason why they have this concept amongst the Sunnis that they believe that if Allah wants on the day of judgment, He can send Yazid, la'natullah, to heaven, and Muawiyah, la'natullah, to heaven as well. We don't believe in this. We believe in justice. And this is one of the pillars of Shiism, that we in theology, in Ilm al-Kalam, we as Shias are known as Adaliyas. Adaliyah. Or Imamiyah or Adliya. Adliya meaning that those who believe in the Adl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not do anything which is unjust. And Shaitan himself, of course I'm not discussing completely all of Shaitan, because then I also have to start the story of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Because Shaitan himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Baqarah asks, O Shaitan, what prevents you to prostrate to Hazrat Adam? What prevents you to prostrate to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam? He says that you have created him from dust and you have created me from fire. And then also in the same ayah it says do you regard yourselves from the Aleen? Or do you regard yourself from the Aleen? The Aleen in the tafasir of the Quran, Aleen are the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And even Shaitan knows that the Aleen are higher in position than him as well. So he never compares himself to the Ahlul Bayt. He knows that he is nowhere to be seen in rank. But with the Adam alayhi salam, he gave himself some sort of superiority. That's the end of that. Now, one point And I'll go back to Surah Yasin, Surah Nas. There's a hadith which I was reading today. It says that to protect yourselves from, sometimes people, especially our youngsters, they ask sometimes the question, I have these temptations of doing this and that. How do I protect ourselves from the waswasa of shaitan, the whispers of shaitan? In the hadith of the Imam Muslim, they have said that recite La ilaha illallah. Reciting La ilaha illallah is a means of protecting yourselves from the waswasa and the shaitan, from the whispers of shaitan. Number one. Number two, the other means of protecting yourself from shaitan is to stay in the state of wudu. If a person stays in the state of wudu, it's a means of protection from yourself from the temptation of shaitan. Okay, that's two. Now let's come back. I'm running out of time, so I will not take any longer because people have started earlier. Now let me go to the surah and the tafsir of the surah now.
I forgot it was early today. Oh my God.
Sorry?
I forgot that it was early today. Class started earlier, right?
Yeah, we started earlier because for revision for everyone. So I'm going to give me 1 second. Let me give you a few more points about surah. Then and I'm going to start surah and then conclude on this. Where is it gone? Let me just give me 2 seconds. Let me just find the. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Now, Surah Nas itself. Now, Surah Falak and Surah Nas, both of these surahs, according to the tafasir, were revealed together, and they are Makki surahs. Both of these surahs, okay? And in regards to this itself, it says Fadl Tilawat Surah. Now in recitation of this surah, let me just go to it itself.
Are you going to post all this in our group, or should we write down?
If you can write this down kindly, because I'm reading from the Arabic text. It's not English, everything is in Arabic. Fadl Tilawat Surah Nas. Now in the actual tafsir of Surah Nas, it says that وردت في فضل هذه السورة روايات متعددة منها ما روي أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اشتكى شكوى شديد وجعا شديد فأتى جبرائيل ميكائيل فقعد جبرائيل عند رأسه ميكائيل عند رجله. Now I'll mention the translation. Now it's mentioned in regards to the surah that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was complaining. A severe complaint. Waja'un shadid. A severe pain which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was inflicted with. فَأَتَاهُ جِبْرَائِيل وَمِيكَائِيل. Hazrat Jibreel and Hazrat Mikail alayhi salam came to Rasulullah. فَقَعَدَ جِبْرَائِيل عِنْدَ رَأْسِهِ. And Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam sat at the bedside of Rasulullah, and Mikail at the feet side, or the bedside, towards the feet of Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَأَوَّضَهُ جِبْرَائِيل بِقُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ وَمِيكَائِيل. And then Rasulullah sallallahu and Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam gave Surah Falak to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Hazrat Mikail alayhi salam بِقُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Hazrat Mikail alayhi salam gave Surah Nas to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then in another hadith, it mentioned about this. Yeah.
Question here.
Yeah. What's the question?
I always thought that it was only Jibreel who brought down the verses of the Quran.
So here, Mikail bikul a'udhu bi rabbil nas. So Mikail came with him, as Jibreel is with him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. As Jibreel is with him. And then now this surah itself. Now, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil nas. So let me go to the actual translation now and do some grammar as well with this and Arabic, and then inshallah I'll give you the next phase of explanation of this ayah and maybe next session. Now, first of all, قل itself, قل, it's an order, imperative. Say, قل. أعوذ, as we did past, أعذ يعوذ. أعذ, he seeks refuge. أعوذ, I am seeking refuge. قل. أعوذ, I am seeking refuge. Present tense. Here, ba here, those who have done some basic Arabic, everyone knows this now. Ba is a harf jar. It's a preposition. Whenever ba comes, ba is one of those particles which come in front of a noun, not in front of a verb. It only comes before precedes a noun. So because ba comes, whenever ba comes in front of a noun, the noun which comes after it, it gets a kasra or a kasra tanween. So birabbi, birabbi. So you can see the ba, the origin is rabbo, but birabbi is coming with a kasra because of ba. And rabbin nasi. So rabbin nasi, Lord of the people. So whenever we have in English Allah ki kitab, kitabullahi. So whenever किसी चीज की मिल्कियत होती है, whenever something is owned by anyone, the first noun comes with a dhamma and the second noun comes with a kasra, and that's the reason why an-nasi is coming with a kasra, because Birabbin Nas, the Lord of people. So Birabbin Nasi. So it says genitive, masculine, plural. So this is genitive means that when the noun gets a kasra and it's mudaf, and in mudaf, Rabbin Nas is mudaf, mudaf ilay. So of course some of these things leave it as it is. Inshallah we'll go further as we gradually exceed our classes, inshallah, and continue.
Sheikh,
Yes.
Rabbi is mudaf and the nas is mudaf ilay.
Correct. Then we have Malikin Nas. Malikin Nas. Here, Malikin Nas is the actual, as we say, Malik, king, lord of the people. So the lord of the people is coming as an adjective of Birab. Who is this lord of the people? He is Malikin Nas. He is a lord as well. So Malikin Nas, lord of the people, and it's an adjective for Rabb. It's an adjective, is a sifat for Rabb, that who is this Rabb, and because Rabb is coming after a ba with a kasra, even the adjective is coming with a kasra, Malikin Nas. It should be Malikun Nas, but it's coming Malikin Nas because it's coming as a sifat for Rabb itself. Malikin Nas.
And Sheikh, it is
Right?
also Mudaf
Yeah.
Nas.
Yes, Malikin Nas is mudaf ilay. Correct. Because the second noun has a kasra as well. Mudaf and mudaf ilay.
Also, is it Naat and Manut?
No. Who say that?
I said, is it Naat and Manut?
Yeah, so this is the Naat and
Naat
Birab bin Nas is Man'ut.
Yeah, thank you.
Sifat is this the adjective, and the thing which is describing is Birab bin Nas, okay? Then we have another sifat as well. A second sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilahin Nas. Ilah means the word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The original word of Allah is ilah. Ilah is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without alif lam. When alif lam is added, it becomes Allah. But ilah in nas means the ilah means, there's no translation of ilah. Ilah is ilah. Ilah meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God of people itself. I do apologize. People are saying MashaAllah.
Sheikh, this is also an adjective for Rabb?
Yes. Yes. Ilahin Nas. And then after this, we have min. Min in Arabic language is a preposition again. Preposition, just I'll give you example, another example. Ba, min are preposition harf jar. Whenever they come before a noun, the noun which comes after it either has a kasra tanween or a kasra. I'll give you example. Bis, do we read bismillah or bismillah? What do we read? Bismillah. So bismillah, ba is coming in the beginning. Ism is a noun. That is the reason why mim is getting the kasra. Allah, bismillah, rahmah. The word Allah is mudaf ilay to ism of Allah, in the name of Allah. Same thing here. Min is a preposition which means from. From what? Shar, evilness. And it's getting the kasra because it's coming after min. Sharril waswas. Al waswas is mudaf ilay. Mudaf and mudaf ilay.
So if any word come after min, is gonna be take kasra.
Yes. Any word, all words normally which come after min should get a kasra. Kasra tanween or a kasra. Okay? Zair or dozer.
Jazakum.
So the waswas is mudaf, right?
Waswas is mudaf ilay.
Ilay, okay.
Yes.
Mudaf.
Shar is mudaf. Shar is mudaf. Al waswas is mudaf ilay. Here, al khannas. Khannas is sifat for waswas. Who is these people who are doing the waswas? The khannas. This is an adjective for al waswas. Okay, waswas. I'll go through these words khannas and waswas next session itself in more details. Alladhi. Alladhi, it comes in Surah Al-Hamd. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim. Sirat alladhina. That path upon alladhina, upon those you have favored, an'amta alayhim. So this is so this is alladhi is ismul mawsul. It comes as a means of attachment of the previous sentence to what is coming afterwards itself. So it's called ismul mawsul, which comes meaning of that or which or who. So what these khannas are doing is explaining that now. Alladhi, those. Yuwaswisu. This is now the first verb everyone is doing now, which is a 4-letter verb. This is a 4-letter verb.
What is REL? There.
I'm not sure what REL stands for. I'll tell you in a minute later. Give me 2 minutes first. Alladhi is ismul mawsul. It's called the noun of conjunction. Okay?
Okay,
and
thank you.
Then yuwaswisu, it's a verb. Yuwaswisu is a present tense verb. Yuwaswisu is a present tense verb. The past tense, remove the ya, it's waswasa. Waswasa. Waswasa means he whispered. Yuwaswisu is the present tense. This is a 4-letter verb now. Wow, seen, wow, seen.
Sir, I think REL is the short form of relative pronoun.
Right, okay. So
Because
wasf,
of the ya, because of the ya is a present tense. Ya
yes.
is
Yeah, if you remove the ya, waswasa, yuwaswisu, waswasa, yuwaswisu is the 4-letter verb. So waswasa.
Sorry, Sheikh, what is the root word for that?
Wow, seen, wow, seen. That's the root word. Waswasa, wa, seen. The wa and the seen at the end have all zabar, fatha. Waswasa. Yuwaswisu. Whisper, okay? Fi again is a preposition. Fi is harf jar. Sudur is in the state of genitive case because of fi, and it is mudaf. As we said, mudaf, mudaf ilay. Possessed and the possessor.
What is genitive in Arabic?
Majroor. Sudur in nas, sadr, sudur is the plural.
So
Sadr
over here the same rule apply, like a preposition come, that's why it's taking kasra.
yes. Yes.
When nasi will become kasra too because it is continuing.
Mudaf ilay. No, it's mudaf ilay.
Yeah.
It's mudaf ilay. Then min again is a preposition. Min al jinnati, from the jinn.
So min is again perfect jar, right?
Harf jar again. And jinnah is, as you know, is jinn. One nas is the people itself.
Finish.
And wow here, it's called
Waw ataf.
waw ataf, yes. So wow means and. So means that I went to the shop and I bought this and I bought this. So in English, it's called the prefix of conjunction. And in Arabic, it's called waw ataf.
It say al jinnate, that means particular jinn. That
No, it's called no from the jinns. It's not. So the good question. The alif lam here, there are different types of alif lams. This is definite from the jinns itself.
So here is mudaf ilay again.
No, it's jar majroor.
So how do we know it's a different type of alif lam? Because
We'll do this at a later stage, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
There's different types of alif lam. That'll be taught at a later stage. Yeah, what type of alif lam these are itself. But just remember, alif lam are for the definite article. Okay? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. So, inshallah, next lesson I'll go through these words khannas and some of these concepts next lesson so that we have a better understanding of the whole surah, inshallah. So we've done a first phase of it. Inshallah, next lesson will be the last lesson on this surah, inshallah. And then I'll move on to Surah Falaq. After Surah Falaq, then I'll go to Surah Ikhlas, Surah Kafirun, and then once I finish Surah Kafirun, then I'll go into the big surah, which is Surah Naba. So Surah Naba, all of what we have studied here, I will apply that on Surah Naba, and you will enjoy it inshallah further. So, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allahumma kulli waliyika al-hujjati min al-hasan, salawatuka alayhi wa ala aba'ih, fi hadhihi as-sa'ati wa fi kulli sa'a, وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا واجعلنا من أنصاره وشيتك وجندك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم.
Sheikh, can I ask you a favor? Can you tell us the merits of the surahs you want to in your classes, please?
Yeah, I will. I did some of it because I was running out of time. So I just didn't even mention one. I'll mention a few more next session, inshallah, as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Inshallah, I'm not too sure how was this session.
Very nice.
Alhamdulillah, very good. Sheikh, you'll do the khannas in detail in the next class, right?
Yeah, I will do khannas itself next session because I wanted to go through the breakdown. Once I've done the breakdown and you know the words, then I'll do khannas and these waswas. What is waswas? What are the Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim have said about waswasa as well?
Thank you.
This is good.
Deeper meaning of
It's
khannas.
helping
Thank you.
us.
Sorry?
This was very good. It helped us, what we
Yeah.
talked.
So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to amalgamate. The grammar was very fast. some of the things I'll repeat this again, Sister Gopher, don't worry about it, because there'll be a lot of repetition, because the other surah itself, there'll be these content repeating itself, and that will allow it to settle in itself. Because I've lost my voice, so that's the reason why partially I've done it quicker, because I can't drink any water as well now, so that's the reason why I did it slightly quicker.
Yes, you should take some rest, Sheikh. Thank you.
Sheikh, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I send you this whole surah with word to word what you have explained to me, and I want to know if I am doing the right way.
No, I'll send you word to word everything into the group as well. So I'll send you another handout with a breakdown of everything as well. So there's another handout which I'll be sending as well. So don't worry, I'll send another handout as well.
Thank you.
Aga, even recording, please.
Yes, I'll send you the recording as well, inshallah.
Maulana, so now you send the breakdown of Surah Falaq.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you a breakdown of Surah Falaq of each of its words as well, inshallah.
Can I ask one question too?
Yep.
In this surah, there are too many times like al-Khannas, al-Waswas, al-Nas. So there are too many times we use. Allah use al. So can you explain why is that?
This is a very good question you asked. This is one of the miracles of the Quran itself. So how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now the Quran is neither poetry or neither is standard text. Quran has its own method and approach and a style of Arabic. Now this surah, this is the actual, some surahs of the Quran. قُلْ أَعُوذُ رَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ. So this is the actual miracle of the Quran, the way the Quran is systematic, it's eloquent, and it ends with this rhythm as well of the scenes at the end. So this is again the miracle of the Quran, the scenes itself, and then you have وَالشَّمْسِ وَالضُّحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا. So these are the miracles of the Quran, that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the Quran eloquent and so beautiful when it's recited as well. So these are miracles of the Quran. And then we have people who say al-filu wa madrak fil khurtumuhu tawilun and so forth. They try to make a surah about fil. Al-filu wa madrak fil. What is fil? Al-fil, it has a long trunk, and that is it. It does not have the same eloquency and the of course this itself, the eloquency of the Quran, it comes under the discussion of ulum al-Quran. And in Ulum al-Quran you discuss about the miracle of the Quran. So that is again another session itself, miracle of the Quran, how the Quran is a miracle. So in that you discuss about the sciences of the Quran, you discuss about the text and the rhetoric of the Quran. That is a session in itself. Maybe we can, if people are interested, we can do a session on the miracle of the Quran. How do the Quran is a miracle?
Okay, please, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Just one more question.
Yes.
We are calling the ayats Makkani or Madani.
Yes.
Is there more to it? Just we don't know, or it's just because it came in that city and in that city?
No, good question. So these surahs from Makki and Madani, they have Shan Nuzul. Shan Nuzul, it means that each surah has an incident related to it when it was revealed as well.
One is more important than the other, or just
No. It all depends upon the situation which Rasulullah is. So inshallah, I think everyone is tired, everyone's fasting. So inshallah, iltimas dua, let's end the session now here as it is. So inshallah, iltimas dua and fi amanillah.